Okay, well that's 7:30. We'll just wait a couple of seconds for people to join. I can't actually see who's on at the moment. Let me see.
Only 4.
Okay. Okay. Starting to pick up now. Good evening, Kathy. Julie, how are you, Julie? There's my boy. Yes, all freshly shorn. Same old face, but freshly shorn, Paul, yeah. Hi, Stuart. It's my big cousin. Andrew. Leslie. Okay, so people, hi Alistair, people starting to come on now. We reached over 4,500 people last week. Hi Nikki. Good evening, how's the motorhome? I was laughing at you two in those fairy pools. So if you could remember guys, hi Stuart, see on Thursday, Sam, if everybody could remember and share, that would be brilliant. 4,500 people we hit in one sitting last week. 4,500. That's more than they get at Capello. Sam, good evening. Hi, darling Julie, how are you? I'll just finish my cigarette while we're waiting for people coming on. Graham Gerard, there's a blast in the past. How are you, son? Be good to hook up sometime. Hi, Gareth. That's 2 weeks in a row you've been on here. Hi, Dee. So, once again, guys, please feel free to share. Thanks, Andrew. I appreciate it. Who would have thought that little old me sitting in my dining room, which is a bomb site just now because we're decorating, and we've been at it since Saturday, and you can see the curtains are down, you know, and so I've got Georgia sitting next to me. Steph again is busy with work, so she's down in her own flat, and Steph takes care of my administration side, bookings and stuff like that. Georgia was set to do a thing on angel numbers tonight, numerology, but the kids had a bit of a weekend and hasn't actually managed to get anything prepared, so we'll kick that over to next week. So right now we're open for questions. I appreciate that, Julie, thank you. We're open for questions and experiences, etc. Get my hair all cut today. Okay, so I've got a question in already.
Since I asked the spirit change from nasty to good after they passed, your dad said they tried to overcompensate. The person I was referring to was nasty on this side, but it's giving me bad feelings to even think about her now. But since I mentioned her to your dad, things are going on, like the fridge switching off, making me lose all my food, or things breaking, or me actually falling. I've tried telling her to go find her daughter, but feel she's hanging about. Is there any advice?
Okay, so Leslie, this is a fight you cannot fight. This is one that you have to put your nearest and dearest on the higher side to. Put your dad on it, okay? Just ask your dad to help with it. Ask your dad to deal with it. Right now, I don't feel you're strong enough to deal with it yourself. I'll come up soon and have a wee look, but at the moment, put your dad on it, and I think you'll find that things should clear up. And stay forceful of mind. Tell him to stop, tell him to get out your house. I know you've tried it, but you're obviously not forceful enough, and ask your dad to deal with it. I can see the shadow of your hair being twirled on my face.
Sorry.
Hi, Deborah. From Balloch, I love Balloch. One of the few places I would move to from Guruk is Balloch. So once again, if you're not asking me a question, get sharing this. We're looking for experiences as well. Any experiences you may have had. Hi, Kieran. Any experiences you may have had, and we'll interpret them for you as best we can. As I say, Georgia's numerology bit, it's a bit of a testing weekend. She had to go out 2 nights, so she never actually managed to get it done. And then she was all day with me, helping me. So, any more questions out there? I'd be interested to see if anybody, last week we said that we would we keep looking for ways to raise money for people who have been affected by COVID. It's affected this household, not with any sort of illness, but certainly financially it's affected this household. But we're lucky enough to keep going. So there must be people out there who need our help, who we can, hi Elizabeth, who we can raise money for. And let's get looking at charities. I believe places are opening up all the time, and even if we've got to stay 2 metres apart and keep half the people that we would normally have, we'll just work twice as hard to raise the money.
What question?
I think Paul put one in.
Yeah. Paul said, since I sat and spoke to Spirit about 7 weeks ago, the turnaround in my mood and day-to-day life is amazing. Big G, you played a big part in it.
Glad to be part of your journey, buddy, and hopefully we're not done. I'm starting, I've got a few students, and I'm starting a circle with them on Thursday evening. Each one has been hand-picked. I'm hoping one more will pop up, but each one has been hand-picked, and Big Paul's very kindly agreed to come on, talk about him coming through as a fledgling. And it's nice to know, Paul, that when times are rough, that you can turn to Spirit, that you can take solace in their help, and they'll do everything to lift your mood, everything they possibly can. And you've also got me. You can drop me a phone from a call from time to time, and I'll lift your moods. That's something Stuart's put on there.
Belfield Community Garden has done a great job during COVID, and it's a charity and it's local.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, we'll look at it. We'll do it. If you know them, Stuart, I know that's your area of expertise. I need your help in my garden as well, by the way. But I know that's your area of expertise. If you want to make contact with them, we'll look at it. We'll set it up. Food banks roundabout are debilitated with inquiries and needing our help. So yeah, we can do things on here, Zoom calls, things like that, where we can raise money. People pay a certain amount, and we'll actually go to Tesco's and fill big trolleys and stuff it in the food bank. Yeah, I'm up for that. Hi Marissa, how are you? So yeah, all these things. Just I don't have time to do that and this and hold down a full-time job and look after my household as well. So any help you can give, I'll certainly go out and do the events, that's no problem, but any help you can give would be fabulous. And bear in mind, if you're not asking me a question, get it shared, because that was fabulous last week, and I really, really, really appreciate it.
It's a question from Deborah McKenzie.
Mm-hmm.
Shade, is it just people that you get through, or do you get any pets?
Yeah, I get animals. Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah, I hear dogs barking and things like that. Yeah, so I get animals as well, except for snakes. I won't have them anywhere near me because I'm petrified of the things. I turn into Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, whenever there's snakes about. So, yeah, there's Leslie backing up. I bring through her dogs all the time. Yeah. In fact, except for my own dogs, I never get my own dogs either. The curse of the medium.
Sometimes.
Let's put that out. I'm sick of that. So keep the questions coming. Steph is online as well. If you've got any booking inquiries or online, or even for me to go out, I go to Gina's. There's always a fox that sits in her grave. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I wonder if that's symbolic, Ellen. We'll maybe need to look at that. You know better than me. So yeah, that's a fantastic piece, Evans.
Lindsay McCann asked, have you any guest appearances lined up for Monday night in the future? Other than me.
For these Monday nights, I could do that if you want. If you're bored with me, I could do that. Yep. Just let me know if that's something you want to do. I have a whole host of mediums out there who would come on. No, we won't mention Leslie Fairley's bird. It's very funny. There's our Steph. I was out on Friday night in Airdrie doing a number of private sittings, and this chap came through He was 34 years of age, and his wife was sitting in front of me, perfectly well dressed, perfectly mannerly lady, nice to talk to, and the conversation between these two people, and Paul Gagan and Ellen McCann and people like that will know what I'm talking about. It's as if I was almost eliminated from the conversation and just the two people were talking again. The feeling of the vibration was absolutely fantastic. There's Charlotte, you're late. Hi Tracy, the feeling between these two people communicating through me, I almost disappeared. I became one of these, and yeah, okay. Dawn, carry on. I nearly used your Facebook name there.
She said, just want to share a wee experience that we had a few nights ago. Sat chatting to my son about my mum, his gran, who has not long passed over. Yep. I brought her photo frame back into my son's room, which I took out a few days before. I let him smell mum's perfume. We sprayed a pillow of his for memory's sake. I went back to my own room, and a few moments later I explained to Mark what I was doing with the pillow, perfume, photo in my son's room. Then my bedroom bedside lamp didn't just flicker, it slowly dimmed right down and slowly lit up. Both Mark and I had no doubt that it was my mum making herself known.
Absolutely fabulous. First of all, great work, because what you've done is introduce your son to the scent that your gran wore, so he'll now know what to look for. And the physical evidence in the house, and I told you before, I think there was going to be some sort of electrical activity in your house, but was it your dad? I can't remember, but I felt there was going to be electrical activity in your house, and your mum is playing with the lights, turning them up and down, so that's outstanding, Dawn. You don't need me when you've got that level of communication, so that's fabulous.
Leslie Fairley said, I had a grey fox that appeared after my mum died. It hung about till all my immediate family saw it and then vanished. I used to tell my mum she was a sly fox. I like to believe that it was her.
Well, given the fact there's no grey foxes in this country, it's all red foxes, that's fairly significant. It's not like squirrels where you get grey squirrels and red squirrels. So the fact it's a grey fox is very, very unique, probably something sent by spirit, so that's fabulous, and hold on to that. And by the way, I don't think you're finished saying that. I think that might pop up again.
Deborah McKenzie said, I lost my two Samoyeds, Bailey in 2018 and Zuzu in 2019. I miss them so much. Do you get any feeling of them being around me at all?
Well, let me tell you an experience that's just been thrown into my head. We're great dog lovers, as you know. We've currently got three. A Great Dane, a Lasso Arsehole, and a Shih Tzu. My last Dane, it was very public. People on here were a great help when Zeus died. But Max, my Labrador, who to this day we still call Boss Dog, he was the boss. He was the best. He was brilliant, And Polly and I have got laminate flooring in our bedroom. And not long after he passed, I used to hear the old claws coming in at night, because he was an old boy and he couldn't walk very well, because we reckon he had cancer, and his claws all grew long. And I used to hear the old claws coming in at night, and if I put my hand down to the side of the bed, I could actually feel a temperature change. So watch for things round about the house. What's the girl's name?
Deborah McKenzie.
Watch for things round about the house, Deborah, things that the dogs used to do. The dogs we have currently will actually stare into the corner and growl as if Big Zeus or Max is standing there going, wait a minute, who are you? I don't know you, Watch for things round about the house. If you've got hard flooring somewhere, listen for the claws. I'm getting the sense of one running up and sliding and bumping into things. So just watch for things round about the house. They'll let you know they're there. Wow, right. go-to thing Ellen's talking about?
Ellen said 2 weeks ago you had a man with something wrong around his throat, and I seen my dad's face.
Well, I don't need to tell you, your dad's in and round about you all the time. It was esophageal cancer, I felt. Or maybe I just related it to that because that's how I lost my dad. Ellen, I'll PM you after this, okay?
Tracy
Have a
Jenkins
private
has
one.
said, she said, how are you, Gordon? I said to you last week about struggling really hard the last few weeks and looking for something to show me there was something there for me. I'm not seeing anything past few days, been seeing white feathers falling from the sky, no birds in sight, made me feel a bit better. Keep doing what you're doing, brilliant job. That is a sign of spirit.
Yeah, absolutely is. Look at this, Big Egypt. This is my wonderful angel. My wonderful angel, my big girl. Yes. And she's blind, this eye's blind, and the other eye's almost blind, so she stumbles about, does her best. Steph's put on there, yeah, if you do want a private reading, just PM myself or Steph, or PM me, because Steph will be on all my stuff anyway. Yeah, okay, that's really good. Deborah McKenzie, yes, I have 2 rescue dogs from Romania. Do they bark with a Romanian accent? That's what I want to know. One of them stares blankly into places where there's nothing there. That'll be the other dogs. They won't leave, you know, they'll be in and round about. That's fantastic. And it's so hard, the loss of, I mean, I lost Zeus, and this, well, she's not playing just now, but this one is now older than Zeus was when we lost him, so she's very, very special. Once again, hi Leslie, my wee cousin. If you wouldn't mind sharing, that'd be great, guys. Let's get the message out there that we're trying to, and we genuinely are. I'm looking for fundraisers, places where you can send me a charity that's important to you, where you can send me and I can get out there and work and raise some money for charity. Anne-Marie, I don't understand that. Gordon, my dad was with us in Millport. Was my dad with us in Millport? Sorry. Right, okay. Very, very strange things have happened to, and there's a reason I'm going to tell you this story. Track that, girl. I was always very, very scared of motorbikes. And my mum left me a wee bit of money, and the one treat I'm going to give myself is a motorbike. But I never liked motorbikes. But I tell you who did like motorbikes was Joe Armour, my dad. And now I'm watching an awful lot of boxing on the telly. I do like boxing, but I was never as fanatical with watching because my dad liked boxing, you know. So your father liked Millport and you went to Millport. Do you think your dad would miss the opportunity to go to Millport with you? Fantastic. Yes, of course he was with you. Fabulous.
Sam Shepherd said, I feel my dog at the side of the bed. It just feels like he's literally there when I put my hand out.
Yeah, I get the same thing. Not so much now. There's a Shih Tzu who's taking a bit of a shine to me, and she insists on lying next to my bed in her bed. So I don't know if there's no room for Max anymore. But yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. Great.
Ellen said it's hard just now with a lot of places.
Yeah, I know that. No, you're right. A lot of places won't open till January, but you know what? I think people will still be feeling the effects. Wee Georgie Pie next to me, she's been laid off, so she's lucky enough she's got her mum and dad. But yeah, people in January will still be. And do you know what? See if we can get it just before Christmas and get some money out there before Christmas to people who really need it. You know, so. Sorry, George. Because the government's not helping. You should see the paltry amount they've offered Georgia, and it's terrible, absolutely terrible.
Julie Hasty Beaton asked,
Who'd you see? See her eye there, she can see with. That's not very good either, but she does her best. Right, enough about dogs.
Julie Hasty Beaton asked, just wondering if you have passed your wonderful gift on to Steph or Georgie.
Yeah, that came up a few weeks ago, Julie. Yeah, both have shown in the past good ability to work. But Steph, she's a career girl now, and George is still young and daft, so they haven't swung around to it. But when it's right and when it's the time, they will come round to it, and they'll feel the urge to work. You know, any decent medium on here will tell you, you feel the need to work.
Charlotte Taylor said, Gordon, my daughter wants to know, if you have died suddenly and have unfinished business, do you stay on the earth plane until it's completed?
I'll need to think about that. So, yes, pal, I love you too. Polly, could you shout the dog?
Dave, come.
Ask me that again, please, Josh.
My daughter wants to know, if you have suddenly died and have unfinished business, do you stay on the earth plane until it's completed?
That would depend on the type of business, you know. I mean, all things material, financial, all that sort of thing doesn't matter on the higher side. If it's family, I would imagine that, and McCann will keep me right on this, 'cause we both think the same way. When you pass, you move over to the higher side, and you have to regenerate, okay? You have to realise where you are and adapt to it. For some people, it's no more than changing your shirt, okay? For other people, it takes a bit of time. If there is unfinished family business, I would think they would then come back. As you know, I've had them through when they're lying in the morgue, I've had them through when they're lying in state, as I've said before, so within 2 or 3 days of dying. So they maybe went over, regenerated, and came back to settle family business. And there's also a particular reason I've been booked for that night as well, you know. So my answer would be yes, they would come back once they were able to sort it. But once they pass over, no, they go over and then they come back.
Really more questions though.
Okay, Georgia's complaining she's not got enough work to do, so I hope Steph's keeping busy. Hi Annette. Aye, please feel free to share. If you don't mind, guys, I'd really appreciate it. Take my inhaler and then I'll go for a fag in a minute. I like the true dog lovers who, when they've lost their pet, you know, it's really, really hard for them. It's
Question from Leslie. She said, G, do you think that if you're really ill and the doc says, get the priest quick, you can be sent back by spirit? I know someone that went to the light and was told no to go back. What's your thoughts?
Well, a member of Pauline's family actually received the last rites about 15 years ago, and they're up fit as a fiddle, actually running now. Doctors can do so much, and in their opinion, the person's time here may be over. But in actual fact, Spirit might turn and say, no, your time's not over at all. Back you go. My own father came back through a very, very well-known medium to say he was due to cross 3 weeks earlier, but he refused because, as some of you may know, when my dad was dying, my mum was really ill as well. We thought we were losing both of them, and my dad wouldn't go to the higher side until he knew mum was okay. So yeah, Spirit have a say in it, the doctors have a say in it, but you have a say in it as well. And if you're not ready to go, like Joe Armour, you might not want to go.
Paul Gagan said, do you believe that we hit the earth plane with a shelf life?
Yeah, and yours and mine's is up, pal. We're past our best. No, I don't, because well, I'm nearly 50 now, and I still smoke, and I still drink and things like that, and I don't take an awful lot of exercise. Whereas up to the age of 35, I was a really, really fit guy. So I've made these decisions to enjoy a cigarette, which I don't really anymore, but to enjoy a drink, which I still do. So if I chose not to do them, I would probably live longer. So no, I think we all determine where and when we get off.
Oh, sorry, I wanted to say something. I think it was in referring into what Leslie had said. She said, I have had them. I was a medium at a big night with you, and she passed away the next week. I
don't understand that.
Someone coming through and being sent back, I think.
Yeah, okay.
And Leslie Fairley said that person was a kid and still remembers that big bright light and being the person that sent her back.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you hear this all the time. People with near-death experiences, people who have been standing. I'm proud of you. People have been standing watching their own operations going on and things like that. You know, people who really want to go to the light and are sent back. So yes, it's very common. Very common.
Keep questions coming.
Yeah, again, we Geordies feeling bored, so keep the questions coming. And I hope you're all liking my new haircut. All freshly shorn today. Same old coupon, just a new look. And it is getting older by the minute. So I see Steph's putting up a few people inquiring about sittings yet. Just speak to Steph, she'll sort it all out, okay?
Yeah, can we reiterate to people that it's not really
It's okay. It's okay. Sometimes I get things, George. Sometimes I don't. You know, I'm not adverse to if something comes up to go with it. Heather Thompson, how are you? So, how are we doing for time?
About half an hour.
Half an hour. Oh, that's good. Sorry, I thought we were further in. So I really enjoy these. It's a wee bit slower tonight, but I really enjoy these. And once again, if you've missed any of them, they're up online on YouTube. Just type in my name, and this big ugly coupon will appear. And there's 7 on there. This is number 8. For some reason, everybody's watching number 2. QD2's got like 150 views, and other ones have only got like 20 and stuff like that. I don't know why, but watch it whatever you want.
It's an experience there from Paul Gagan. He said, I watched my own op and told the nurses what went on in the operation. They said I was away with the birdies. I was only 18 at the time, but still mind it clear as day.
Wow, that's fantastic, Paul. You can tell me about that. But it's just a phenomenal example of. I mean, I don't know what the operation was, if it was life-threatening or whatever, but it's just a fantastic example. That was Pauline that put the light on, not Spirit.
Bobby Taylor said, "Hi Gordon, if you're scared of dying when it happens, so you feel a calmness, or are you still scared?"
Well, I haven't died yet, Bobby. I don't know. I'm not frightened of dying. I never have been. Funny, and anybody who's ever watched anyone die, and certainly I've watched 3 now, on all 3 occasions, people were being acknowledged and waved to by the member of my family, and there was nobody else in the room. When I sat with my gran Flossie when she died. I was the only one there, and she was waving to somebody, almost telling them to back off, as if she wasn't ready to go over. And when wee Mary died, it was unbelievable. She was waving at folk and thumbs up, you know. And even my dad did it a couple of times, but my dad was so determined he wasn't going there. There must have been people there at the end of his bed for weeks and weeks and weeks, but Joe wasn't going until he knew Mary was okay, you know. So I don't think being scared when you're passing over, when you see other loved ones there to reassure you and take you over, and I've witnessed it, guys. I've not seen the people in the room, but I've witnessed the reactions. Don't get me wrong, I hope I never witness it again, but I've witnessed these people acknowledging other people who are in the room who I can't see, and that hopefully would lift any scaredness away from them, just to know to go to their loved ones.
There's a question there from Tracy Jenkins.
Uh-huh.
She said, have you ever had someone come through and had a really bad feeling about that person and you haven't wanted to bring them through but you still did?
No. I have had people come through and the sitters didn't want to speak to them. So that's fine. That's simply jog on your way. I'm sorry. If they're the person who have contacted me to sit for them, and if I'll bring through anybody. You know, I'm well protected in the higher side. I won't get anybody who's nasty through to use my body in any way. Excuse me, I do apologise. But when that happens, 9 times out of 10, it's somebody who the sitter doesn't want, and I'll simply send them back. Ellen's just hit the nail right in the head. It's not that you're scared, it's just leaving your family. You're not scared of dying, you're scared of leaving your family. And I would worry if anything happened to me, what the girls would do without me. They're grown adults. They would work it out. They would get on. They would throw a party. George has just said. Thanks, Angela. I had my hair done. So I would worry. And what Ellen says is perfectly correct. It's fear of leaving your family more than anything else. And there's a shit so just exploded in the back garden.
Andrew Hurrell said, my daughter was sent back twice. She did a lot of charity work for York Hill Hospital, but unfortunately she passed on the third time on February this year, only 22 years. Every time I am out, a little robin seems to follow me. It's in the back garden at work, and even the other day at the garden centre.
George and I had that conversation today. My dad died in May 17, and on Christmas Day 17. We were doing what usual, we were having a perfectly nice morning, you know, and the girls were opening their presents. Hi, Robert. And this bird was singing outside the window. Now, I've got a big hedge that runs right up outside of my front garden. And this bird was chirp, 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 really, really, really loud. And my dad could whistle through his teeth and sound like a bird when he was here. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Right? It was really, really funny. And eventually I stopped everybody. I opened the blinds because Christmas morning's a family thing. You close the blinds, you spend time with your family, you know. And yeah, okay, we'll do. And I opened the window there because the noise this bird was making, and there was this wee robin sitting in the hedge looking directly in my window, in my front window. And I called the girls over and Polly, and we all stood and looked at it, and this thing never got spooked, it never flew away. It just stood there and sang its song till it was done, realised we'd acknowledged it, and then away went. And that was my dad coming to see me on Christmas morning. Georgia was saying today there's a robin following her. I was sitting outside the back of my mum's house just before mum passed, and there was a robin quite happy to come up to me. Now bear in mind I'm 6'2" and about 16 stone. This wee bird was quite happy to come up to me within about 3 feet and just sit and look at me and chirp away. And I went inside and I got some crackers and I broke them down and I gave it to him. So yeah, robin's fantastic evidence. Very, very happy with that. Brilliant.
There's a lot of sad experiences here. Just with people
Hello, Jade McCartney.
being around family when they're passing.
There's a lovely, you know these emojis that come up beside people, put hearts up, etc. There's a lovely staffy keeps popping up and it's a beautiful thing. I like staffies. So once again, guys, if you could share it, I'd appreciate it. That'd be great. Thank you. Any more questions? Any more experiences? Louise Watson, we have a robin comes onto our balcony. Is it someone visiting? Yes, absolutely. I'm noticing it. George is noticing it. A lady who just put a gentleman, who's lost his daughter, who just put a post on there. 22. Jesus, she's 22. He's noticing. There's my staffy again. He's noticing the robin. So yes, please put something out for them when you see them, and let's keep it going. Yeah.
Paul said, when my mum passed, she opened her eyes for the first time in 6 days, looked at me, my 2 sisters and brother, gave us a big grin, looked towards the bottom of her bed and nodded, took a deep breath and left us. In a weird way, it was beautiful, but Ellen had told me earlier in the day to have that conversation with my mum, so she must have heard me.
Fabulous. Just reaffirming what I'm saying. And there'll be people on here who have lost people and who have sat with people as they're passing over. And I'd be interested to know if you have a similar experience. I have questions too, you know. So if we're all getting similar experiences and we all consider ourselves spiritually minded, then let's just test it.
Leslie Fairley said it was a butterfly that sat on my mum's coffin, yet it was the 22nd of December she was cremated.
Wow.
A
butterfly in December. You've had butterflies in your room as well.
Quite a lot.
You know, yeah, that really is amazing, especially in December. That's fantastic. So once again, any questions? Get them over. There's my staffy. I like that wee staffy. It keeps popping up. Is it Jade McCartney's? I'd love. Send me a picture, Jade. As you know,
Ellen McCann said she's retired.
No, I'm getting you back out. You and I have got lots of money to raise. It's the one thing we do really well. Retired my bum.
I mentioned sharing that again.
Georgie said I've to mention share it again. I don't know how you do it. I know it's a good thing because we shared it last week and it went through the roof. Fabulous. And I'm not going to keep banging on about that because it's not about attention. But what I want is people on here.
Just for more questions.
Well, more questions, obviously. But I want charity ideas, things I can do, raise money, you know. I like the food bank one. If anybody's involved with a food bank, please get in contact. No, one more time, Paul. We'll get her out of retirement. How about the three of us take a platform? That would be great. Let's still game, we're back. I can never get this thing in the centre. I don't know if it's because the camera's at the side, but I can never get this thing in the centre. It's so annoying.
Leslie Fairley said, my mum wanted to go to be with my dad. Minutes before she passed, she stretched her hands out towards the window. I know my dad was taking her over.
Don't be doing that capital letters thing. Sorry, ask me that again.
It wasn't a question, it was just an experience.
Alright, sorry. Well, everybody else heard it then, so that's fine, that's great. So we're almost out of August, can you believe it already? It's frightening. It's been the strangest year to be alive. It really has. I hope I never witness anything like it again in my lifetime. It's the stress that people are under, the strain that people are under financially, emotionally. It's incredible. So maybe at this time, being the spiritual people we are, I try to be nice to people all the time, and sometimes it's difficult, but I do my best. Maybe just picking up the phone, talking to somebody I haven't spoken to in a long time, or being nice to people on the street. One of my favourite ones to do to try and help people is, no, I can't. I'm not qualified, Leslie, but Ellen can. One of my favourite ones is to walk up to the big issue seller and buy two, and then give them one back to sell again. And the look on that guy's face is just fantastic, you know. I used to love it. It was really, really, really funny. It used to cost me 60 pence a time to get a laugh. But I used to go up to the Erskine Bridge toll booth and pay my 60 pence and pay 60 pence for the car behind, who was obviously a complete stranger I'd never met before in my life. And then drive away. And the guy behind me had to say, no, it's okay, that guy's paid for you, he's paid for me. Yes. And you just hear the car coming behind you really fast, you know. And the conversation through the two car windows would go, did you pay for me? And I go, yeah. Yeah, I go, why? And I go, I don't know. And I just, away I go. Just try something different, a wee spiritual way to make folks' life a wee bit better, you know. It's a hard old world out there at the moment. It really is a hard old world. And let's do what we can to look after each other.
Lindsay McCann asked, what's been your best experience with another medium?
I've worked with some very, very fine mediums over the years. Obviously Mary Armour, my mum, Gordon Smith, Colin Fry, is it Tony Stockwell? I always struggle to remember his name. Ellen McCann. There was only ever two I was ever really comfortable working with, where I never felt somebody was trying to compete with me, and that was my mum, obviously, and Ellen McCann, and that's no secret. I've said that for years. One of the most amazing things, and again somebody mentioned it on here last week, was the double link that my mum and I could strike up, and she did this with Gordon Smith as well, where we would both be bringing through the same spirit. It's not us that are doing the work, we're doing more normal mediumistic work, but the spirit on the higher side is working twice as hard and working two mediums, and it just makes you wonder, how capable are they over there? How much more can they push us as mediums? My guide and I have already started a thing called Reversing the Flow. We've been doing it for a number of years, with reasonable amounts of accuracy, but since Mum has went to the higher side, it's got a lot better. I now, 1 in every 8-9 sittings, I'm actually walking through people's houses, describing things on the walls and in their home, etc. But the most amazing thing was the double link with my mum and I. But the only two I'm ever really comfortable. I was ever really comfortable working with is my mum and Ellen.
JC Jenkins said, Gordon, I know you can tell people you read for anything bad, but how does it make you feel if you know something bad will happen but you can't tell them? Just wondering how it makes you feel afterwards.
We're never given anything bad, and any medium on here will back that up. We won't get the ISA scenario in Still Game. You're going to get hit by a silver car tomorrow at 3 o'clock. No, we're not trusted with anything like that. Our job as mediums is to give reassurance that your loved ones cannot die for the life of them. They're alive and well on the higher side. They're just loved ones we can no longer see. But we're never given anything bad. We can bring back bad experiences people have had in the past, but nothing, as I say, you're going to get hit with the 3:30 bus to Glasgow tomorrow. We would never get anything like that. We're not entrusted with things like that, and any medium it tells you they are is telling porkies.
Charlotte Taylor said, my mum died when I was 6. I don't remember her, but will I know who she is when I die?
Of course you will. Of course you will. And you and I spoke a couple of weeks ago about not hearing certain things and not feeling or seeing certain things from the spirit, and that's simply because they were working too hard on the higher side to keep you here, and God knows you've tried to get away a few times. So yeah, you will automatically know who your mum is, because she's sitting right behind you, looking after you and making sure you stay in the straight and narrow.
Ellen Logan said, I seen Mary and Gordon do a double link in the GAS. It was fantastic.
Would have been the GAS, it would have been Berkeley Street.
Leslie Fairley said, can you go look for a spirit that doesn't come through?
Yeah, this is not a new ability. It's an ability that I've had thanks to Robert for the last 5 years or so. But since my mum passed over to the higher side, I'm more accurate with the reverse and the flow. But by God, it takes it out of me, I'll tell you.
Andrew Hurrell asked Gordon, if you have a reading, can you be told you're going to pass? As my daughter was so organised and settled at planning our whole funeral, she knew she was not coming home from the hospital.
There's a fantastic phrase goes about at the moment: prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And anybody that knows me knows I'm not an SNPist, but Sturgeon has done a fantastic job preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. And I think that phrase applies to your daughter. Your daughter being the fabulous person she was. Christ, my daughter's 22. I'd be devastated, as no doubt you were. So why would she want you to deal with the worst case scenario and everything that goes with it? Because I've organised funerals, I've done all that. It's a horrible thing. She's just simply tried to, being the special person she was, lift the load off of you and hoped for the best, is I think the best way to put it. That would be my answer to that, and maybe you and I need to get into it a wee bit more. Hit Steph and she'll sort it out.
Did you see Ellen's message? She's going into hospital and she was asking for some healing.
You love all I can send, you know that.
Lindsay McCann asked, if the cause of someone's death isn't known, for example it's either murder or suicide, could that person come through and tell you what had happened?
You'll remember me talking earlier on about the lovely young girl. She was a woman, she was in her 30s. At my age, they're girls. And her 34-year-old partner coming through, and they could not determine why she was speaking to the boy in the morning, and when she got home at night he was dead. And they couldn't find a cause of death for this boy. And he actually, and people of a certain age will know what I'm talking about here. Excuse me a second. He termed himself as a Friday car. So anybody of a certain age will know what I'm talking about. When the factories, the cars were built by men and not robots, and they just wanted home on a Friday. And if you're unlucky enough to get a car that was built on a Friday, you'll know what I'm talking about. This chap actually just said, he described himself as a Friday car. He said, I just wasn't put together properly. And eventually it broke. So yeah, if they are struggling to determine what happened to the boy, it may come through in a sitting, it may not. And then depending on the medium, it might not actually be accurate. But yes, that came through the other night. He said, I just wasn't put together properly. It was a bit of a Friday car, and eventually it broke. So yes. Any more, George?
Deborah McKenzie
Uh-huh.
said, I've had objects moved in my house, i.e.
Brilliant.
objects facing different ways. I've also had a flower swapped in my bathroom vase
Wow.
to a totally different flower.
Brilliant.
What are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely brilliant. You've got somebody on the higher side who really wants you to know, who really needs you to know that they're round about and they haven't left you for a second, okay? We get bits of physical activity in the house, but not an awful lot. That level of physical ability is somebody really trying to let you know that they are there and that they've never left you a second since they went to the higher side. So welcome it. As I've said to you, if a door blows open, my mother used to say, welcome friend, and you come, okay? So welcome spirit, thank them for going to the effort, because that is some effort for them to do that, to affect things in albeit a different world. So you really thank them for letting them know, thank them for letting you know that they're there, and acknowledge the effort it's taken to do that.
Ellen McCann said, do you think mediums need to change their voice when they are working?
I don't, you don't. Some do. Physical mediums. physical mediums like Gordon Smith, their guides will come through, like Stuart Alexander, their guides will come through and the voices will actually change, the accents will change. So on a physical mediumship side, I have witnessed it. Stuart Alexander in particular, the fabulous physical medium in England, who I've been to 5 of his seminars, has a little boy called Christopher. And he's just a little boy, you know, he's 8 years of age, he's full of mischief. And he popped up behind my chair, and I bear in mind the seance is done in pitch black. And with this wee English voice went, "Boo!" right behind me, and I jumped about 6 right in the air, you know. He really did, George. He really did. So this is a gentleman who's a couple of decades older than me, and his voice was changing to that of an 8-year-old boy, and then coming out into the room to frighten me. So physical mediums, yes. Don't think I've ever done it. Certainly not witness you doing it. So no, would be my answer to that. Just an opinion.
10 minutes. Bobby Taylor asks, see if you have lost something in your house. Can Spirit help you find it?
Absolutely. As many of you know, I've lost about 7 stone. And my engagement ring from Polly, which I've had for 30 years. This Egypt here and I were carrying on the other day, throwing each other about and having a laugh. And I threw my hands up and my engagement ring came flying off and we couldn't find it. And I'm all round the house and with the couches out and all the rest of it. And then our ladyship over there decided I was decorating all weekend and the curtains had to come down. But I was saying to my dad the whole time, Dad, that's 30 years I've had that ring. I'll be 30 years with Pauline in September. Next week, actually. I really want that back. Please help me find it. And I've actually moved it today to this finger because it's the only one it fits on now. But I moved it back, obviously, before I come online so it looked properly. And what do you know, when we took the curtains down for decorating, which Madam instigated, my wedding ring fell out of pleat in the curtains. It was being held in place by a tie back. So yeah, they'll help you find things.
Charlotte Taylor said I've lost my wedding ring, that's why he's asking.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. We all believe you, that's right.
Ellen McCann said transfer fig, as in transfer figuration.
Yeah.
I know you have to do it.
Oh, I can't do it, Ellen. You can do it, I can't do it. Any form of physical mediumship, and I have tried. I can't do it. I can't keep my mind. I don't think I can give away that amount of control, if I'm being honest. Would I love to? I don't know. I think Spirit are perfectly happy with me being a very good mental medium. I'm not the best medium in the world, but I'm certainly by no means the worst. And I'm quite happy going on doing that. If they want it to change, well, I've not got Mary anymore, you'll need to help me. So if they want it to change, then they'll let me know. But I've never felt the need. Funnily enough, now that you mention it, there's an excellent physical medium called Eddie Nichol, who comes on. He's a good pal of mine. He was a very good pal of my mum's. And my mum was his control. He would get in the cabinet and mum would remain outside in control. But he's never done it because mum wasn't able to do it, you know. How did I put that? That didn't come out right. He's not done it since my mum was unable to help him. And he's actually asked me to go along and help. So maybe that's what you're getting. But the trouble is he lives in the borders. I live in the completely opposite side of the country in the southwest. He's in the southeast. And it's actually getting the time to meet up. They should be on here tonight, actually.
Leslie Fairley asked, what's a trumpet service?
It's not a trumpet service. A trumpet, to all intents and purposes, is a traffic cone with the bottom cut off, so you're left with just the cone part. And if you want a demonstration of this, type Stuart Alexander into Google and just click images, and there's a hand drawing of it will come up. So what they do is they take this trumpet and they put circles round it of luminescent tape. Is that right, George? Luminescent tape. Okay. And they will charge this under a light for an hour or whatever, I don't know, before the service starts. Now, bear in mind, all of these services are actually conducted in pitch black. They close the windows, they pull the blinds down, they put black bags over the windows, and then they close the curtains. They tape up the cracks in the doors, and they take the lights out of the emergency signs wherever you are. So it's literally no difference between your eyes closed and your eyes open, and you cannot see your hand in front of your face. And then at certain points in the service, now bear in mind the medium is strapped into a wooden chair, and I mean strapped into a wooden chair. Can't move his arms, can't move his legs, okay? The spirit that is using the medium at the time will ask for the trumpet to be brought forward. Now, this would either be my mum or June, her name escapes me, who sat on the other side of Stuart Alexander, would reach behind the cabinet and they would bring this out. Now, bear in mind, you've been sitting in a pitch black room for 20, 25 minutes, half an hour, and this trumpet comes out. And it's the brightest thing you've ever seen in your life at this point. And it starts to fly around the room. And I mean fly around the room. It will go from there to the other side of the room in a split second. It'll hover in front of your face, then it'll go up and it'll tap you on the head, and it'll fly off somewhere else. There is absolutely no way it could be done, and it's demonstrated by spirit that it could not be done with fishing lines or ropes or any sort of apparatus. It's actually done, and if you look at the picture online that I'm talking about, I'll maybe post it up my page later on. You'll see how it's done. It's done with ectoplasm, and it's an absolutely incredible experience. One of quite a few incredible experiences I've witnessed in seance.
Annette Lavelle said, "I've yet to see a true transfiguration medium. Wasn't impressed at ones that I've seen, sadly."
There's one on here, and I think Ellen's saying she can do the trumpet as well. So there's one on here, and we are going to get her back out of retirement, and we are going to go and do a haul, and Paul Gagan's coming, and it's all because I say so. Simple as that.
That's coming up to time.
That's us coming up to time. I'm quite happy to carry on for a few minutes if anybody. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I love talking to you all. I love answering all the questions because it makes me think and it keeps the grey matter going. We'll not go for too long because there's beer going out of date in the fridge. So, any more questions?
Excuse me.
Annette, can you do that too? Okay, you're the boss. Okay, fine. I thought you were retired. I thought that made me the boss. So are we keeping this going? Because it's been a wee bit quieter tonight. I was absolutely amazed last week at 4,500. That's it reinstated again. At 4,500 people watching this. It's quite humbling, actually. We've now got connections coming on from America, Canada. Thankfully, they're all English speaking. Plenty of love hearts there. Okay, we'll go again next week. Georgie will have prepared by that point her bit on angel numbers. And angel numbers are when you're looking at the clock and you see 18, 18, 11, 11, 21, 12, where it's all the numbers round about. So she has more of a knowledge on this than I do, so she can put a bit of slap on next week and give her that a 10-minute break.
Thank you. Leslie Fairley asked, why did the girls not continue development?
As I said, Steph, boys, basically, if you want to get into it, but Steph met a boy, they were together for a long number of years, and that ended, and now she's really thrown herself into her career. George is 22, you know, and what were we all doing at 22? I wasn't out doing churches and things at that age. So it's something when they feel they need to do it. Like the rest of us, I mean, Ella's been on there that she's retired. I remember I knew it was time to retire from platform for Spirit churches, and I can't remember how long ago that was. It was maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, something like that. But I just felt I'd done enough, and it was time to retire from that and take it in a different direction. And now I work more for charities. I'll still go out and do the occasional church. I did a Zoom church on here, which was weird, you know, it was crazy. I did a Zoom church on here, but again, it was done for all the right reasons, and they've got very, very good fledglings on a Wednesday night, and you really should give it a watch, you know. Again, I'll put the link up on my page. Thanks, guys, that means a lot. Everybody's putting on great night. Thanks, I really appreciate it. It's just me sitting here with my Wayne, my ugly Wayne at that.
What was
30
you
years.
next weekend?
It'll just be me next week, I've been told. Sitting in my dining room talking to you fabulous guys, and it'll be up on YouTube tomorrow if I don't get it up tonight. Problems with my laptop last week and this week, in fact, and if anybody wants to fix my laptop, please feel free, because it's driving me nuts. And I look forward to seeing you once again. Charity nights, I've had a few suggestions. Stuart, if you could look into that, and I'll see you on Thursday night on our call. Charity nights, any ideas, that sort of thing, share the hell out of this, and let's get the word out there, because the more people you share it to, we might just hit one charity that's really struggling and they go, Gordon, can you help us? Okay, right guys, thanks very much. I love talking to you. Oh, wait a minute.
No, we're all good.
Alright, Steph can deal with that. Once again, guys, let's try that wee extra bit to be kind to folk, and look after yourselves, because there was 116 cases in Glasgow in the southwest, new cases. Robert, you need to stop that. We're going to have words. So please look after yourselves, stay safe, and I will speak to you all later, and I'll see you on Monday night. Take care. Bye bye.